Hello, Stu's News, number 31. It's Monday, 26th of October, Hillary Clinton's birthday. So, let's hope we see Amy Coney Barrett approved today. Whatever posh word they want to use for that, confirmed, whatever. I'm on holiday all week, so you might see a bit more of me. We are recording, yeah. So, bit of breaking news actually. For all the people that are going, Hunter Biden didn't kill himself, we are getting reports now that he might have tried to commit suicide and is in the Walter Reed medical facility. So, I'm sure that would make a lot of people happy, including Hillary Clinton and even Joe Biden, because he is a piece of work. So we don't know, that's just reports at the moment and it's all a bit hearsay, so we wait to see about that. Following on from all my other videos, I've got a little message for the mask wearers from Dr. Anthony Fauci, probably the most important mainstream medical person on the planet. So, this is for you.
There's a lot of confusion among people and misinformation surrounding face masks. Can you discuss that?
The masks are important for someone who's infected to prevent them from infecting someone else. Now, when you see people and look at the films in China and South Korea, whatever, everybody's wearing a mask. Right now in the United States, people should not be walking around with masks.
You're sure of it? Because people are listening really closely to this.
Right now, people should not be walking. There's no reason to be walking around with a mask. When you're in the middle of an outbreak, wearing a mask might make people feel a little bit better, and it might even block a droplet, but it's not providing the perfect protection that people think that it is. And often, there are unintended consequences. People keep fiddling with the mask and they keep touching their face.
And can you get some schmutz sort of staying inside there?
Of course. But when you think masks, you should think of healthcare providers needing them and people who are ill. The people who, when you look at the films of foreign countries and you see 85% of the people wearing masks, that's fine. That's fine. I'm not against it. If you want to do it, that's fine.
But it can lead to a shortage of masks.
Exactly. That's the point. It could lead to a shortage of masks for the people who really need it.
There you go. I hope that's cleared that up for you. Right. Now, obviously with this Biden laptop coming out at the moment, there's pictures and pictures and pictures coming out. It's all Hunter Biden at the moment. Sordid sex pictures really and stuff like that. There's nothing any more than that, him smoking a crack pipe. But they are going to be dropping stuff constantly until the election. And it's all coming out of this gnnews.org, or you can follow Mulan 2020 on Twitter, or probably not Twitter now, Parler or anyone else, and Lude, L-U-D-E, Lude News. These are the guys that are doing it. I've actually been sent, well, it wasn't sent to me, Santa Surfing has posted an English version of their news show, which is an hour and a half long, so I might get into that later and have a watch of that, because I don't understand Chinese, so I tend to skip through it. There's only so many subtitles you can read when you're doing your research. So, what we're also finding out with this laptop and all this stuff being released is the CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, own so many American politicians It is unbelievable. And people in positions of power, etc., all across the country. This is why Trump is saying, we didn't realise the swamp was so deep. And they are using this thing called the BGY program, which is basically where they hack, buy, or use sex. So they hack people, get information on them, or they bribe them, or they use sex, get them in compromising positions, videos, and all sorts of stuff. So the level of corruption is phenomenal. So we've got to keep our eyes on that. Well, we keep our eyes on everything, don't we? Right, I just wanted to show you this because I have been watching Matt Hancock this morning, and he's a fucking little serpent. Can any one of you actually put your hand in the air and say you feel any compassion at all for fucking Matt Hancock? Because if you can and you're sitting there going like that, I bet you wouldn't do it in a fucking crowded room full of people. No way. Right. Let me go onto this page here. Sorry. Let me go into that one. And let me show you this picture here. Right. It's a measure of how stupid this government thinks we are. That 10 days after giving Marcus Rashford an MBE for his work in making sure starving kids get to eat food, they voted to stop Marcus Rashford making sure starving kids get to eat food. Now, honestly, that is pathetic, isn't it? It's absolutely pathetic. What's really good is that this is all over the mainstream media, and you'll start seeing, I'm sure you're going to start seeing all the truth coming out in some of the media soon, because you won't believe it otherwise, will you? Most people. So I listened to Matt Hancock this morning waffle and stutter and that, which is all he's done for the last 6 months, really. And if Theresa May can pick £1 billion off that magic money tree, so she can get those people to join her in the election. Can't even remember the name of that party. Right? Surely they can just print a bit of money off just to make the kids, make sure the kids in our country have got stuff to eat in this troubling time. It's fucking ridiculous, isn't it? But you can see what they are. And when you do start to stir and rise and get the pitchforks out and start sharpening them, you know who you're going to go for, don't you? All these fuckers. Right. Charlie Ward said yesterday that there's probably about 7.2 million accounts worldwide that have been shut down, that are truthers, telling the truth, FB, YouTube, Twitter, etc. So that is a lot of people they're trying to silence, isn't it? So please start listening to the people that have done some research and all this, because your government's lying their fucking asses off at you. Right, now let me show you this video of this little fella. He went to it's a Welsh bloke, went to Asda, because what they're doing now, they're cling filming up and wrapping up non-essential items in certain places, so you can't buy them. You can go and buy booze, but you can't buy a kettle or something like that, or whatever they deem as non-essential items. I think booze is an essential item, I have to say, but there's lots and lots of stuff out there. So this geezer and his missus, he went into I think it was Asda in Wales. Let's get rid of that, don't need that. In his pants. So let's have a look at this. This is quality.
No. Clothes are not essential. I'm not filming you. Clothes are non-essential. Clothes are deemed now non-essential.
Got his mask on.
The Ulster policy states clothes are non-essential. So clothes are non-essential for shopping. Clothes are non-essential. Let him go buy some clothes. This is beyond a joke. There's children out there that are growing that need clothes. No, I'm just saying, so let him in. But clothes are non-essential. Clothes have been deemed in Wales non-essential. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. On what grounds? On grounds that clothes are essential attire. Why? On what grounds? Because clothes are essential, yes? So are clothes essential or not? No, I want your opinion. Are clothes essential or not? No, I would like your opinion. What? Yeah, there we go. Clothes are essential. So clothes are essential to day-to-day life. Thank you. That's fine. Yeah.
Brilliant. So that's what we need. We need loads of people doing things like that. We know the rules are all pathetic, and we've got to challenge the system. And if you're going to challenge the system by going out and protesting, or you're going to challenge the system by wearing a Roman Emperor's, headgear when you go as a mask, or take the piss like these guys do, but they're proving a point how pathetic and stupid these rules are, and that it's not about a virus. There's a lot more going on. So we need to get out, we need to challenge these people, don't we? We don't need to hide away at home obeying every rule like we're rolling over and having our bellies tickled, because it's bullshit. I know it and you know it, and even the people that are heavily indebted into the I only get my news from the mainstream media, the current bun or whatever, or my government, even they are going, something doesn't feel right though, I have to say. And that's because you know it isn't mine. Right, what else? Steve Mnuchin, US Treasury Secretary, could be part of the swamp. But then there's misinformation and disinformation, isn't there? What's going on with Pence? We're still waiting to hear about that. I've been looking at some of the CUE drops this morning, about the backdated ones, about Christopher Wray, and some say Wray is a sleeper, some say trust Wray. Misinformation and disinformation. But we know Christopher Wray has had the Biden laptop since December 2019 and done nothing with it. Now you can look at this in two different ways. One, he's been trying to hide it and he's deep state. Two, he's not deep state. He's part of the White Hat team, and he's been waiting till this moment, under direction of his bosses, to release it now. So we wait and see about that. There was a Google spike yesterday, I believe, in Americans typing in the words, "Can I change my vote?" So obviously anyone who has voted for that snake, Creepy Joe, they don't want to vote for him anymore. I'm telling you now, these Trump rallies are amazing. If you haven't watched any of them, he's doing 1, 2, 3 a day at the moment. And Biden's just given up now because him and even Obama has dragged his sorry little arse out to try and campaign for him. No one's turning up. No one gives a fuck. Everyone knows what they are. And everyone knows what's coming. So now let's have another look at this. I'll show this little video of Trump because this is a beauty. I can get rid of him there, isn't it? Right.
So we have a tremendous crowd, as you know. That's the governor. And we just had a little talk, and we have a tremendous crowd. And I'm watching the crowds that are being drawn by my opponent and his predecessor, the predecessor. I looked at the crowd that was President Obama had. Not too big. Not too big. I don't know if that's an indication of anything, but there's nobody there. And we have, the governor was just telling me, we have tens of thousands of people. And we've had it everywhere. Then we're going to Wisconsin. I hear the crowds are very big up in Wisconsin. And we're going to do, so we're doing 2 more today, and then we're doing a number tomorrow, and we're going to take this right up until the end. And then I suspect I'll rest for about 2 hours, but we'll see what happens. But I think we're doing very well. The numbers are coming in unbelievably well. I don't believe the media's talking about them. I'm not sure the media knows exactly what's happening yet. But in Florida, we're doing very well. North Carolina doing very well. Iowa doing very well. The governor was just telling me that in Ohio we're doing great. I think they pulled out. Something happened, but they seem to have pulled out. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Well, we have 10 days, and nothing worries me. I think we're doing just very well. And you look at the numbers in Florida, we're way ahead where we were 4 years ago, right? Way ahead where we were 4 years ago, and I think I can say that everywhere else. In North Carolina, we're way ahead where we were 4 years ago. I think it's very good. I don't know if it's a hidden vote. I don't know exactly what it is, but we've had some polls come out, very strong polls in Trafalgar. He's one. He called it very accurately last time that we're 2 points up in Michigan in the Trafalgar poll, which has been a very accurate poll, and so we'll be going up to Michigan very soon. But we're leaving, as you know, from here. We're going to Wisconsin, and tomorrow we have a full day.
Mr. President, what specific indicators are you looking at in Florida and North Carolina?
Well, if you look at the vote, the early vote, it's not nearly what they thought it would be. It's just not what they thought. We're going to have a great red wave. It's going to be a red wave like you've never seen before, because people are tired of looking at the anarchists and all of the things taking place in Portland, Chicago, New York with crime. They're tired of it. But you're going to have a red wave, the likes of which you haven't seen, and everybody knows it. And they I don't think they're doing very well. They have no enthusiasm. Look, Obama shows up for a speech and nobody shows. What did he have yesterday? 32 people showed up? We've got 35, 40,000 people half the time. What's my smallest crowd been? 20,000, 22,000 people? Right, Steve?
Mr. President, there are some coronavirus cases rising in Wisconsin.
You use the word cases. You know why there's so many cases? Because we test. Because we test more than any country in the world. Nobody tests like us. Cases. Everybody uses the word cases. Mortality, way down. Way down. And a lot of those cases that you're talking about are young people. Very young people. That get better 99.9. They get better almost immediately. No, use the word case because you're trying to scare people. Don't scare people. Don't scare people. The fact is that we're doing very well. The vaccines are coming out. The therapeutics are coming out. But we have more testing than any country in the world. That includes India with 1.5 billion people. Nobody tests like us. We test more. Now, the good news is we know where it may be. The bad news is anytime you test, you're going to come up with cases. But you just use the word, it's cases.
Well, I just wanted to ask, sir, is there any concern about bringing people together?
Say it.
You call testing foolish. Why would you call it foolish while it's
I can't hear you with your mask. Thank you very much.
For Laura Loomer today when you voted?
Did I vote? I voted straight Republican. Thank you.
Superb. He's giving it to the he's just giving it back to the media all the time at the moment, and it's good to see. And they're still at it, trying to do, well, they're doing what they're told to do, haven't they? But they are all on the wrong side, and their time is coming. I went to the pub on Friday for a few beers after work, and I got into a debate, didn't I, with 3 other people, and it was 3 against 1, and I held my own very well. In fact, I kept giving them fact after fact after fact, to which they would respond to me, wow, I fully agree with that, but there's definitely a pandemic going on. I'm going, no there isn't. I was talking about case numbers, all sorts of things, figures on the CDC website, the UK Gov website, the WHO website, blah blah blah. Really? I didn't know that. There's definitely a pandemic though. Okay. So, after all that nonsense, I finished my pint and fucked off. I couldn't be doing with it anymore. But I'd had about 3 or 4 anyway, so that was nice. Anyway, so, what do I want to do? Oh, I want to show you this little clip here. This is from a film in 1976 called Network. It was this little bit. This is a news anchor actually. He just fucking loses his rag, and it's actor Peter Finch playing Howard Beale is his character name. I don't think he's any relation to Pete, Ian or Kathy either, for those of you that know what I'm talking about. You lot probably don't watch Stu's News though. So, what do I do now? I'll click on there, like that, go on to that. This is what you should all be doing, right? Getting a bit fucking mad, right? Not bowing down and taking it all.
I don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. It's a depression. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. We know the air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. They're crazy. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore. I want you to get up right now. Sit up. Go to
I'm as mad as hell.
Open them and
I'm not
stick
taking
your
this
head
anymore.
as mad as hell.
I'm not taking it anymore.
Things have got to change.
How many
First,
stations does this go
you've got to
on?
get mad. You've got to say,
I know it goes to Louisville and Atlanta.
We're not going to take this anymore. Then we'll figure out what to do about the depression and the inflation and the oil crisis. But first, get up out of your chairs, open the window, stick your head out and yell and say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Who are you talking to, Harry? Are they yelling in Atlanta, Harry?
Are they yelling in Atlanta, Ted?
But first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
They're yelling in Baton Rouge.
Get up out of your...
Son of a bitch! We struck the mother low!
Stick your head out of the window, open it, then stick your head out and keep yelling and yell, I'm as mad as
just get up from your chairs right now. Go to
Where
the
you
window.
going? I don't wanna see if
Everybody
anybody's
just go to
yelling.
the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell and keep yelling.
Go on, get your window open and fucking have a shout. Join the awakening. There we go. No. Back now. Anderson. Oh, and that was me. Just showing you my TV.
What do you mean, have a crack? I'd like to program
Oh,
it for you.
fuck off, will ya?
Develop it. I wouldn't interfere.
Sorry, I didn't want that to come on. That's that same film. Yeah, and that was me having a little watch. What have I got on there? That's a peregrine falcon. That's a peregrine falcon. Just got one, I think. What's that doing under there? Hold up a minute. Oh. That's an advert with a flamingo. So, we don't need to talk about that anymore. Anyway, so, right, just two things. This next 10 days is going to be pretty crucial, really. There is all this information coming out day by hour by hour. So, you know, there's a lot of talk about this 10 days darkness, and it's necessary, it's going to happen, whether it's going to be 10 days, 3 days, whatever. There might be a shutdown of internet, so it might be any time now, it might be after the election. There's a lot of talk on 11.3 or 11.4, things are going to happen. You know, there's talk on the Q clock, on the CUE clock, that 11.3 is actually on the 28th of October, which is 3 years to the day of the first CUE drop on the board. So, just, you know, make sure you've got enough food. Don't dig yourself a bunker, all that shit, because it's bollocks doing that. Where we go, one we go all. So I'm just going to leave you this one little picture now. This PC screen, and that shows you whatever I want on it. And this is for you. You would have to have your skull scraped out and filled with concrete not to realise that there's something really sinister and very evil is going on. Dr. Vernon Coleman. And I'm going to leave you with that, because that was Stu's news. Peace out, love and light.